Starting in the name of Allah, the most merciful, mighty and gracious to all. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and welcome to the class of organizational behavior. Students, today we are going to discuss the 13th lecture of the course, and now our major concern in the 13th lecture, that is again motivation. But here in this time we are going to study the motivation, the concept of motivation from concept to application. Now students, if you remember in the last session or in the series of the session, the lectures, we have discussed the different theories of motivation. If you remember, I split up the concept of motivation into two sections. The first initial section, that was the earlier theories of motivation, that where we discuss the different aspects of motivation. And then after that we started clear the contemporary, the advanced theories of motivation. And then we discussed the concept of motivation. We learned that what the motivation is from the various aspects. Now in 13th lecture we are going to discuss that what are the practical implication of the motivation, or in other words simply we can say that how managers do motivation inside the organization, or how managers keep their employees motivated in the organization. मतलब जो motivation organizations के employee संगा implement कई सही वाला संगा apply कई नो ज़का दा way जो from concepts to application. Now in this lecture we are going to discuss the JCM. JCM simply means job characteristic model. Then we will discuss the job enrichment concept, job enlargement concept, job rotation concept. We also will discuss the employee involvement program, and we also will discuss the employee reward system. Now let's start from the first, that is JCM model. But before starting the lecture, so if you notice that some of the topic I have highlighted clear by red color, while some of the topic I have highlighted into green color. And what does it mean? I would like to make an idea clear to you that in this lecture, lecture number 13, I have split up the whole lecture into two parts. Our topic is that motivation clear and its implementation, or concept to application. So now the whole application I have divided into two parts. The first section, this one section, is it? Basically it also clear connected with the motivation of the employees practically. But here this section clear, that is clear that how to motivate the employees with the job concern or with the job design. Matlab that is sura concept tikna that all connected this so job design sir. Is it the red kejikam shaded the, while the green one shaded clear, again these are clear the concerns, the application of motivation, like in motivation through employee involvement program and employee reward system. Matlab simply means che manageran they try to make the employees clear motivated through structuring the job by JCM model, by job enrichment, by job enlargement and by job rotation. And then they also keep clear motivated their employees by introducing employee involvement program and reward system. Now in this lecture we will cover our first part, that is totally about the job design or the job design theory. Is it that how motivation or how employees clear, how managers they keep their employees motivated through job design theory. And then again we will discuss inshallah that how motivation can be occur through the employee involvement program and reward system. Now let's start from the first, that is JCM model. We are going to start our first section, that is employee motivation through structuring the job or job design. Manageran when they want to motivate their employees, so how they can motivate their employees through the job design? It means they have to clear manage, they have to structure the job, they have to redesign the jobs. So with the help of the redesign or structuring the job or through job design theory, they can motivate their employees. Under the job design theory we have the first concept, that is known as your JCM model. Here is JCM. J mean job, C mean characteristics, M mean model. First let me explain the concept. the concepts अवल तासुला explain करा when managers they want to motivate their employees, they must have to focus clear on the job design. They have to design the job, is it? When they design the job to bring motivation clear into the jobs of the individual employees, so they must have to focus on some characteristics of the job, and these characteristics are simply known as the skill. So the skill of the job. Characteristics here mean skills, not only skills, that they different concept, different variables. Come variables, these variables are skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy and feedback. It's simply stated. So when managers they design the job, they must study the following characteristics of the job. They must focus on the following characteristics of the job. Why? Because these characteristics will bring clear motivation employee growth need. These characteristics will bring some psychological status, some psychological responses, and these psychological responses will lead some individual personal outcomes, and these outcomes will provide the individual growth. That way, the JCM model simply explains that it is a conceptual framework. The conceptual framework where the different characteristics or variables are identified by the managers within a job of an individual to motivate them. These characteristics will bring them psychological responses, and that psychological responses will lead to the individual performances. We're gonna identify 5 job characteristics. As I told you, skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy and feedback. All these are the different characteristics and their relationship to personal and work outcomes. Now these characteristics have a connectivity with the individual personal or psychological status, responses, and that will generate an outcome. What type of outcome individual will face when the managers they adopt the JCM model? Now look at here that they will create the knowledge of the results. The knowledge of the results simply means the performance of the individual. Like for example, feedback about my performances. How I am performing, I must have to know about my performance. That is known as knowledge of the result. Next we have the meaning of the work. Meaningfulness of the work simply means how much my task is important. And the second thing is that personal feelings. It simply means the sense of responsibility. मतलब कल हम JCM model, when organizations or when managers they apply job characteristic model to redesign the job to bring motivation among the individual, so now they must have to focus on the skills, and these will bring some psychological, as I told you, responses, and these responses are number 1, the knowledge of the results, the meaningfulness of the work, and the sense of responsibility. Now once these psychological responses are generated, that will lead to the individual outcomes. Our individual outcomes these can be increase the level of motivation among employees, the performance and the job satisfaction. Now us da way simply padiman mulag da how guru skill variety task identity clear kama how basically the JCM model works. First of all, I have to explain what is skill variety. If you notice on the word skill variety, skill mean competencies, variety many, for example changeable thing. Skill variety means how an individual is using or what variety of skills are utilized by an individual within a job. मतलब जो job की कम skills या कस से कम दे सही वाला आगाज़ इस्तेफादा कवले शी. How different types of skills are used by the individual within a job. अब suppose that let's suppose say your individual there, one of the individual he or she is using the negotiation skill, the communication skill, for example the bargaining skill, the conceptual skill, the design skill. Let's suppose, is it? All these are the different clear variety of skills an individual is using clear within the job. Up the next we have the task identity. If you notice task identity simply task. Task simply mean car. The combination of tasks, it becomes a job, or a job comprises a variety of tasks. Now each task must be identified. Identify mean clear. Sexual crystal clear. Har yo car chukam de aga mukammal clearly what I have to do. Like for example, I am a teacher. Is it? What teaching? That is a profession. It's a job. Within that job, I am performing a variety of tasks. Like for example, I have to conduct exam. I have to conduct, for example, lecture. I have to check the paper. I have to do the duty. For example, I have to sign the attendance. I have to sign the mark sheet. These are the variety of tasks. There are so many other tasks as well. Each task is identified, that is crystal clear to me that within a job I have to perform such tasks. So that task identity, task identity. So simply means the degree to which the job requires completion of a whole and identifiable piece of work. Then we have task significance. What it says, the degree to which the job has a substantial impact on the lives of work of other people. Simply stated, gore the way task significance. Significance means importance, values. Which task, which for example job, which activity is more valuable, is more worthy. Like as a task, suppose for example, task A kai or task B hum kai. Within these two tasks, which one is more worthy? For example, your doctor de or your sweeper de. उसको sweeper हम ढेर जरूरी दे organization के doctor हम ढेर जरूरी थे. Which task is more important? Which job is more worthable? That is simply known as your task significance. That which task clear is more valuable or worthy. Then we have the autonomy. And what is autonomy? The degree to which the job provides substantial freedom and discretion to the individual in scheduling the work and in determining the procedures to be used in carrying it out. Now autonomy simply means the power. It means that is a power, that is a responsibility clear to the individual. Autonomy simply that way, that how much the power clear given by the organization to the individual within a job. Like for example, organization mata way, Mr. Adil, you have the authority to schedule the work for your, let's suppose, own job. It means that is the power to me. That how clear I can utilize clear this, that is a discretion to me clear by the organization that I can definitely schedule my work for upon my own wish. That is a power, that is an autonomy to me. Or for example, how I can handle the people. Is it how I can order the people? How can I arrange the things? Is it? That is a discretion. Discretion means your marzi malara kadeda. That is simply known as autonomy. That how much power is given to an individual within the job. Second, the last, that is known as the next characteristic, that is known as the feedback. As I told you, what is feedback? The degree to which carrying out the work activities required by a job results in the individual obtaining direct and clear information about the effectiveness of his or her performance. I've simply stated, as I told you, that what is feedback? Feedback is simply a piece of information. And that piece of information is relevant clear to the performance of an individual. Suppose I'm an employee of an organization. Is it? How I am definitely performing clear inside the organization. That is clear. A piece of information is given to me about my performance. Or that is the right clear to me that how clear I am performing, I must know about my performance. So when a piece of information about my performance is provided to me, such piece of information clear to know about my effectiveness is known as my feedback. So GCM model simply explains that when motivation brings clear among the individuals clear, so they have to redesign the job. When we say that redesign the job, it means that we have to fluctuate clear the following characteristics, the following variables, such autonomy, the feedback, the skill variety, clear, and the task identity and the task significance. So simply the concept is also job characteristics. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Okay students, whatever the GCM model we have discussed, and now I would like to explain all the concepts with an example. It will make your idea inshallah more clear. If you notice, as I told you, that GCM model simply stated that redesign the job through skill variety, through task identity, through task significance, through autonomy, and through feedback. Now here in this example, it will make your idea fully clear that what does it mean skill variety. Sometimes skill variety used within a job at the high level and at the low level. So when any of the skill variety is used at the high level, that is known as your high variety, high skill variety. And when it is used at the low level, it is known as low skill variety. Sometimes skills clear variety used at the high level, and sometimes it is used at the low level. What does it mean? Now look at the example. The owner operator of a garage who does electrical repair, rebuild engines, does body work, and interacts with the customer. What does it mean? If you focus, an owner operator of a garage who does electrical repair, that is known as your one skill, rebuilds engine, the second skill, body work, the third skill, and interacts with the customer, the fourth skills. An individual, an owner operator is using 4 different kind of skills within a job, and all these jobs are at the skills are at the high level. Now second, we have a body shop worker who sprays paint 8 hours a day. If you focus, then individual is only utilizing a single skill, that is spray. Spray is what? Spray clear, there is no variety in the spray. That is clear a simple task. Only single clear a person is doing a spray. And for example, the person is doing 8 hours spray, 9 hours spray, 10 hours spray. Is it? The hours are, let's suppose, enhancing, but clear the variety of the task is still constant. It means the spray is a single task. It means there is no variety the individual is using clear when he spraying. Your kamkar de spray ka naha gente kai sayshura ka lassa ta kai bas yo spray de yo variety that's a pakke change nashte de. Again an individual is using clear skill, but there is no variety, there is no difference. So it means the individual is using the skill at the low variety. So first, managers must have to identify through JCM model that which skill or a variety of skills are used clear by the individual within a job. Either these skills are used at the high variety level, either these skills are used as a low variety level. Now the next, we have the task identity. As I told you, task identity simply means the identifiable clear of the task, the clear cluster of the task, that how much clear a task is clearly crystal or crystally clear. Your task to come there, say shura aga sura clear there, sura identifiable there, defined there, simply stated. Now, as I told you, skill variety can be utilized at the high variety level and at the low variety level. Same is the case that task identity can be used at the high identity level and at the low identity level. Now let's start clear the task identity at the high identity level. A cabinet maker who designs a piece of furniture, selects the wood, builds the object, and finishes it to perfection. While in this case, at the low identity level, a worker in a furniture factory who operates a lathe to make the table legs. Look at here. The piece of furniture, select the woods, build the object, and finishes it to perfection. 4 tasks are identified, and all tasks are utilized at the high identity level. While here, an individual clear under the furniture factory who operates a lathe to make the table legs. It means that there is no structure for this person. Is it? There is no, for example, selection of the wood, there is no built the object, there is no design, there is no structure. बस पे भी जुड़ई सही शोला यो मेज यो दगे दे पारा अखपला भी जुड़ की मतलब दलता चले टास्क आइडेंटिटी स्टा लेकिन टास्क आइडेंटिटी कम दे आगा लो दे. Is it? Next we have the task significance. How valuable the task is. Sometimes, as I told you, the task significance, the worth of the task, that is at the high level, and sometimes that is at the low level. High level ki gore nursing the sick in a hospital intensive care unit while go sweeping hospital floors. The duty of nursing, the task of the nursing is also important, valuable. while sweeping hospital floors सचुला फर्शुना पाकवल दा हम जरूरी लेकिन गोरा दा नर्सिंग च कमकार दे सचुला दा च दे दा पा हाई लेवल माने इंपॉर्टेंट दे लेकिन स्वीपिंग हॉस्पिटल च कम दे हालांकि दा हम इंपॉर्टेंट दे लेकिन एज कंपेयर टू नर्सिंग सचुला दा पा लो सिग्निफिकेंस माने इंपॉर्टेंस लदी सचुला way, JCM model simply explains that managers motivate the employees, so they must have to focus clear to redesign the job. They must focus on the skill variety, they must focus on the task identity, they must focus on the task significance, and same they must focus on the autonomy. Autonomy se वही again, autonomy mean power, simply high autonomy level and low autonomy level. Gura, a telephone installer who schedule his or her own work for the day and decides on the best techniques for a particular installation. While this is not the case clear in the low autonomy level. Like for example, a telephone operator who must handle calls as they come according to a routine, highly specified procedure. It means that at the high level, the power is given to the telephone installer, that he has the power, while in this clear at the low autonomy responsibility clear he has the routine structure. It means he must have to follow the rules and regulation established by the organization. So at the high autonomy level the power is given to the telephone installer, while at the low autonomy level clear the less power is assigned clear to the telephone operator. And same is the case, we have the feedback, the high feedback level and the low feedback level. Up here an electronic factory worker who assembles a radio and then tests it to determine if it operates properly or not. अब look at here, that is a feedback, that the individual clear have the power clear, that the person individual will give the feedback clear, that whether, like for example, if I am a person, so I have to assemble some operators and then I will clear test it and then I will give a feedback. While in the lower feedback, the electronic factory workers who assembles a radio and then routes it to a quality control inspector. It means I have to assemble clear an operator and then I will wait for the person, for the inspector. The inspector will judge the my assembling and then he will provide a report. Up here, what does it mean? It means that is a less feedback. I don't have the autonomy as much. So now the JCM model simply explains that job characteristic model, that when motivation done by the managers clear toward the employees, so they must have to redesign the job. And while they are redesigning the job, they must focus on the skill variety, that how many skills or variety of skills are utilized by the individual within a job. Either these skills are at the high variety level or either these skills are at the low variety level. Same is the case with the task identity, task significance, autonomy and feedback. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear to you. Students, as I told you that JCM model simply states that when these characteristics are to be focused, is it by the managers to motivate their employees, these characteristics will bring a psychological response, or simply you can say it will generate a psychological status, and that psychological status will lead to the outcomes. Up from this diagram, I would like to make it clear to you that look at here. Number one, these are the dimensions, like as I told you, skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy and power, feedback. These dimensions, is it, that will generate a psychological response, and this psychological response will generate an outcome, individual outcome, and this whole outcome will lead to the individual satisfaction or individual motivation. Like suppose I would like to give an example. If within a job the managers had identified the skill variety, the task identity and the task significance, so now once these dimensions, these characteristics are cleared by the manager to an individual, so definitely that will bring clear a psychological response clear within an individual. What individual will basically feel? The person experience the meaningfulness of the work. Meaningful of the work simply means that how much clear my work is, for example, valuable. So once this meaningfulness is clear to the individual, so it will lead clear toward the internal work motivation for the individual. Same is the case that when the autonomy is identified within a job to the individual, so through this the individual will experience the responsibility for the outcomes of the work. Like for example, da for a common khabar somebody is giving me the power. For example, somebody is assigning me the power. Once the power is assigned to me, definitely I will feel that I am responsible for such work. So it means that will create a sense of responsibility. So once I will or I have to face the sense of responsibility, so definitely there will be two outcomes. I will perform very well. It means the quality of my performance will be improved. And the second, I will definitely feel some satisfaction. So high satisfaction with the work. Same is the case when we are facing feedback, or when there is a proper feedback to the individual about his or her own performances. So what will be happen? They have to know about their performances. So therefore it simply says that knowledge of the actual results of the work activities. And then it will lead to the low absenteeism, rukhsati rate per kamchi, and turnover rate which they spell from the organization rate chekam de dabam kamchi. Once these, according to job characteristic model or GCM model, once these dimensions are clear, the dimension will lead to the psychological states. And once the psychological states are clear, so the next that will create the individual or personal outcomes. And all these will lead to the employee motivation level. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now we have computing a motivating potential score. If I want to check out that how much an employee will get a motivating score, or how much an individual will have a motivation score, so we have a proper formula for that. That is known as MPS. Motivating या motivational potential score. It simply states that how clear individuals are motivating. Mr. Adil is motivated. If you are motivated, how much you are motivated? How, for example, percent you are motivated? Definitely I have to give a response clear in percentage, or I have to, for example, you people have to give me some marks, for example, some numbers. So it means I have to provide my motivation level into some numbers. Is it? So what the formula we have to calculate that number? So that is known as your MPS. Motivating potential score. It is skill variety plus task identity plus task significance divided by 3. That is the average. It means average of all the 3 varieties, identity and significance, multiplied by the autonomy, multiplied by the feedback. Is it? So once you will add get the average of all these different identity skills and multiply with the power and multiply with the feedback. So what it will give you? It will give you the MPS, motivating potential score. So people who work on jobs with high score dimensions are generally more motivated. This formula will give you, for example, a high value. If the MPS is high, so simply stated, it means that the person is more motivated inside the organization. Is it? And the person is more satisfied and more productive. While job dimensions operate through the psychological states in influencing personal and work outcomes, variables rather than influencing them directly. Is it? So that is simply a formula to calculate the motivation level of an individual or employee within an organization. Now in this slide we have the job design and scheduling. What does it mean? It simply means that, as I told you, that managers, they must motivate their employees through job design. Is it? Under the job design, first we discussed the job characteristic model. Now we have some more techniques, and all these techniques are connected with the job design. The next method, that is the job rotation method. Job rotation, job enlargement and job enrichment, all these are clear, again some motivational technique, and all these techniques are connected with the job design. Now let's start from the first, job rotation. The periodic shifting of a worker from one task to another. What is job rotation? Job rotation simply means the movement of an individual or the movement of an employee from one department to another department within the organization, or from one position to another position, or from one job to another job. Is it? Such movement of an individual is known as job rotation. Rotation of an individual from position to position is known as job rotation. From department to department, hum ki dishi. अब जॉब रोटेशन सरा यो फायदा खुदा दा individual will learn about the job. Individual will learn about the functional areas of the job. Individual will have clear face the co-workers. Individual will face clear the supervisors, the bosses. But clear it has a limitation as well. The limitation is that once the individual is rotating from position to position, so adjustment becomes very much difficult at that time. And the individual is, for example, moving from one position to another position, the graph of the productivity or the performance of the individual at that time will not be up to the mark. The individual will take clear a bit time to get adjustment inside the organization. But it is also clear a method to motivate the individual, and that such motivation is known as your job rotation. Then we have the job enlargement. If you focus on the word job enlargement, job means job, enlargement means, for example, expansion. It means job enlargement simply means that adding up a series clear of the same nature of the activities within a job of an individual. Like saying, for example, I have a email sorter. Masara yo email sorter yo kaste che email sorting ki. Ab his job is just to sort the email. That is a single task. Now the same nature of the task I am going to add within clear the job of that person. Suppose to sorter I am saying you don't only sort the mail. Now the next task is that you must have to, for example, distribute the mail as well. मतलब सिर्फ sorting बुना के distribute sorry सिर्फ sorting बुना के वो सारा mail distribution हम कहे. अब sorting was a single task, is it? And mail distribution is another task. But if you notice clear, both the activities are of the same nature, that are a bit similar. So what I did, that I am clear including a series clear of same nature of the activities within that job of that person, is it? So that what I am doing, that I am enlarging the scope of the individual. So such enlargement is known as job enlargement. Therefore it is known as horizontal expansion of the job. A series of the tasks are including in someone's job, but without any power, without any authority. It means individual clear don't have the power to take any sort of decision. While when we are talking about job enrichment, if you notice, enrichment simply means that enrich the job, or that is known as your vertical expansion. A vertical expansion simply means that include, is it, a variety of tasks within a job of an individual, like along with power, along with authority, is it? So that is a major difference between job enlargement and job enrichment. That in job enlargement we add up a same kind of clear a series of tasks, a same nature of tasks within a job without any power or, for example, authority. That individual has no power to take participation or decision making, for example, power. While in job enrichment, that we are assigning a variety of tasks to the individual, but along with the power. It means that individual has the power to take clear the decision or to make the decisions. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now that's the difference between job enlargement and job enrichment. What are the guidelines when we enriching a job? Suppose we are feeling, being as a manager I'm talking about, that when we are for example with a combined task, so then what happened, we must have to focus on the skill variety and we must have to focus on the task identity. When we are, for example, facing or connected with the create nature work units, so then what happened, we need the task identity, is it, and we need the task significance. When we are connected, being as a manager, establish client relationship, we must focus the skill variety, that what the different variety of skills are utilized by the individual while making client relationships. Then we also will explain the authority, the autonomy, and we also will explain the feedback as well. And when expand jobs vertically, vertical will mean job enlargement. So definitely sangama sasu which job enrichment chikam de sechwa vertical expansion simply mean enrichment. We must have to provide clear autonomy to the individual, and when we are open feedback channels, is it, so then definitely we have to provide the feedback as well. This is just a guideline that, for example, when you are concerned with the following action, you must have to focus on the job dimension. It can be the skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy and feedback. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now we have some more alternative work arrangements. It means how clear through work design or what managers should add within the job to motivate the employees. So managers should add clear the flex time benefits, the basically benefits. See. So with the flex time benefits, management manageran chikam they can motivate their employees. What is flex time? Employees work during a common core time period each day, but have discretion marziyada in forming their total work day from a flexible set of hours outside the core. Suppose flex time. Flex time simply means flexible time. Is it leverage? That is a flexible time given clear to the individual. La har individual tanadi. Sexual to khas individual sadi. Lekin that is basically a benefit that where the individual is clear have the leverage to schedule clear their own, for example, timings. Like for example, go organization kise core timing see. Let me give you an example here. That so idea is clear. Go for example, organization ke 6 AM na 9 AM. Go 9 AM na 12 noon or bya 1 PM and 3 PM. Matlab 9 AM na through 3 PM. That is a core basic working hours of the organization. Is it? Up from 3 PM to 6 PM and from 6 AM to 9 AM. Up that is known as the flex working hours. Is it? These are the flexible working hours. Up these that is the leverage given to the employee. I have, for example, 3 baje rukhsati kai no bya tada choka che kar sa har rasha 6 AM na 9 AM pore. Up that is the leverage to you. Yo kach wati sarji za shfago na 19 tar naha pore nasham ratle sahar ke sahwa dama kari जब सो कमा जब खैर द 3 PM ना 6 PM पर बजा एक्स्ट्रा कार को मतलब डे टाइम के बजा खपल कम द वर्किंग आवर्स दी सही शो दा बदलता एडजस्ट कमा. अब दैट इज बेसिकली व्हाट दैट इज बेसिकली द flexible time. It means a flexibility, a leverage is given to the employee, is it, to make their schedule clear with a flex time. So that is the benefit. Sexual this तरह हम होगा your individual today we can motivate an individual. Next we have the job sharing. By the name it is clear, job sharing. Job sharing simply means share your job. When a single job is shared by two people, clear, simply that is known as job sharing concept. That's why the practice of having 2 or more people split a 40-hour a week job. For example, job sharing day. Let's suppose 10-hour job day. Morning ke job koma 5 hours. Evening ke zama wife ya zama roz chikam de aga kai. Is it? So we complete the 10 hours within a day by 2 individuals. So it means that we are clear under the job sharing concept. Job sharing chikam de da hum yo, for example, leverage the individual the para to motivate the individuals. Then the next alternative work arrangement, that is telecommuting. Telecommuting for tolo pata da internet through car cover, work through the internet simply, or computer based work. That is simply known as telecommuting. Employees do their work at home on computer that is linked to their offices. Simply stated, this is your telecomputer. Mashallah, technicality basically it handles what? It handles the routine information handling tasks, the mobile activities, remote activities, handling professional and other knowledge related tasks. Is it? What basically telecommuting da hum your concept hai, lekin it has some advantages and it also has some disadvantages. What is the advantage? Advantage khuda de che larger labor pool, because it is an open platform. Is it? Every person can access the organization through internet or through computer, so therefore the work, the labor, the employee clear will be in a large quantity. Now yo khuda da che larger, for example, labor pool chire aha kideshi. Second, higher productivity, because you are utilizing the machines you are utilizing the internet, etc. You are providing, let's suppose, clear on time delivery. So therefore the productivity, the performance will be high. Less turnover, no regularity to the organization, no attendance to the organization, no physical, for example, access to the organization. No zaka turnover rate chikam de aga kamshi. Gura next da hum takriban telecommuting sayshula da kam chimunga da kar kaulage sayshula online chikam lecture, for example the teaching zilaga koma, it is also a kind of telecommuting. Sayshula wala internet based ya for example computer based chikam de zilage performance work homa, is it? That is the leverage to me. Next we have improved morale. This is morale high shi, sayshula satisfaction level high shi because korna lagya is it? Reduced office space cost. और बल एडवांटेज ढेर ज़्यादा एडवांटेजेस दी सही हुआ, लेकिन a few of the advantage मदल तरीके ली चीज़ तो just idea clear शी. And we have the reduced office space cost. यो खुदा दा चे organization चे कम office for example मसरफ दे सही हुआ, कम चे structuring दे, let's suppose rents वगैरह चे कम दे आगा कम शी. अब along with advantages, the telecommuting also poses some disadvantages as well to the employer. What are these disadvantages? Less direction supervision of employees. Because employees clear are large in quantity and they are scattered clear from for example the center point, it means that there is a decentralization, so therefore that is very much difficult clear for the employer or for the supervisor to manage all the employees at the same time. Due to the decentralization, supervision that is very much difficult. Yo khoda da direct supervision of the employees da chekam de that is that kami, because controlling chekam de aga kamshi the supervisor upon the individual. And then the next disadvantage, difficult to coordinate teamwork because people are scattered in the nature, is it? So that is very much difficult to bring harmony among the individuals. So the coordination among the individual or for example the teamwork that becomes very difficult clear when the individuals or when the organization is providing telecommuting. But telecommuting is also a method, a technique with the help of which the organization also provide benefit to the individual. Now we have the next section, and that is employee motivation through employee involvement program and reward system. If you remember students, initially I told you this lecture number 13 delta basically guru that how managers do practical implications of motivation within the organization. Initially I told you that managers, they can motivate their employees through two different methods. Number one, that is structuring the job, that how to redesign the job. So bringing some innovation, bringing some changes clear in the structuring of the job, they can motivate the people. We studied the different techniques. First that was the JCM model, then we discussed the job rotation model, then we discussed the job enlargement, job enrichment, telecommuting model, is it? And then now the next method, that how to motivate the employees through that is through employee involvement program and through reward system. In this section we will cover total two topics, that is employee involvement program, and then we will discuss the employee reward system. Let's start from the first employee involvement program. As I told you, if you notice employee involvement, it simply means employee involvement, that is a technique used by the organization to involve the employee within the decision making process of the organization. So that will show the commitment of the individual and that will lead to the organizational success. So such involvement program, that where the managers give a chance to the employees, to the colleagues, to the supervisors, for example to the members, that they should participate in the organization for the organizational success. So such program is known as employee involvement program. Now what the definition says, a participative process, as I told you, a participative process, that where management, supervisors, bosses and peers, they mutually, for example, participate. So such process is known as participative process, that uses the entire capabilities of the employees and is designed to encourage increased commitment to the organizational success. As I told you, that it is the participative process, that where the management uses the skills of the employees, and these skills basically use the commitment of the individuals. Why this commitment of the individuals? Because to the organizational success. Up the question is that employee involvement programs, this is a technically that is a motivational tool for the individual. Is it? Your managers, your management, they can use employee involvement program to motivate the employees. What are the different examples or what are the different methods of employee involvement program? Now let's start the first employee involvement program, that is participative management. By the name it is clear, participative management. A management which participate, or for example a management system where the supervisors, they participate with the individuals and they give a chance to the individuals to participate in the decision making program, like MBO, management by objectives. Management by objectives मात्र से शुरू किया teach करे हमने कि management by objectives से तो वही कि where the top management and the supervisors, they combinedly make the goals for the organization and they dig out the means that how to achieve these goals. Is it? So such process where the top management and supervisors, they mutually make the goals is known as your MBO. So that is the process in which subordinates share a significant important degree of decision making power with their immediate boss. Simply stated, that is a participative relationship between the supervisor and the peers. So such management is known as your participative management, and MBO, management by objective, is the common example. Then the next way or example of employee involvement program, that is representative participation. By the name it's clear, representative, numainda chivartavayu. Is it? So when a team of representative, chitayarshi, that is simply known as your representative participation. Workers participate in organizational decision making through a small group of representative employees. Is it? Under representative employees, we have work councils and we have board representatives. Now what is common one? Work council, simply these are the teams, the groups of nominated or elected employees who must be consulted when management makes decisions involving personnel. It means when any of the decisions are taken about the HR, the human resources. Is it? So either these decisions are in the favor of the human resources or not. Like for example, labor unions. All these are basically what? These are the nominated people and it comes under the work council, and these are basically your representative participations. The employee involvement program examples, ways. And then we have the board representative. Board representative, again we have some board members which clear daham yo timunadi, which basically concern with the board of governance. A form of representative participation, employees sit on a company's board of directors and represent the interest of the firms of employees. Simply stated, employee participation, employee involvement program, which through representative participants. Then we have the quality circles. By the name it is clear, quality circle. It is also known as clear the quality teams. What does it mean? Quality teams, that we have a total quality management or a quality enhancement cell which every time clear enhance the performances or quality of the organization. That team is simply known as quality circle. Quality circle or quality team, that is a group of employees who meet regularly to discuss their quality problems. A quality doesn't mean that it is only concerned with the product. No, it can be concerned with the services, that for example the services of the organization is not up to the mark, the performances of the organization is not up to the mark, the planning clear of the organization is not up to the mark. Is it? The standards of the organization is not up to the mark. Is it? Product standards I'm talking about. The performance standards are not up to the mark. Is it? Now all these come under the quality problems. So that investigate causes, that why it is happening, then they will recommend the suggestions, the solution, and then they will take clear the corrective decisions. So that committee or that for example circle, which basically concern that how to improve the quality of the organization in terms of product, in terms of services, in terms of performances. Is it? So such is known as your quality circle. And all these are the different examples of your employee involvement program. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now under the second part, we completed our first part, that was employee involvement program. Now under the second part we have the second point, that is rewarding employees. Simply means that employees, managers, they can motivate the employees through rewarding, clear them. Before rewarding, what are the different aspects? Agar different aspects say, number one, managers must have to decide what to pay. Internal versus external equity. Is it? Second, they how to pay. For example, either they should provide clear the piece rate system, the merit based system, the bonus system, profit sharing system, the gain sharing, the ESOPs, the skill based pay. Don't worry, रातून की स्लाइडों के हर इज्जत आसुल इंशाल्लाह डिटेल की तशरीह कमा सही हुआ. लेकिन कल हम यो मैनेजर चले फॉर एग्जांपल या मैनेजरान चुकम दे वांट टू मोटिवेट द एम्प्लॉइज, सो दे मस्ट हैव टू फोकस क्लियर ऑन दीस सही हुआ द डिफरेंट W and H. Then what benefits to offer? For example, flex time benefit, job share, telecommuting, all these are benefits. Initially I told you. And then how to recognize employees. Is it? For example, how to recognize employees today, again that's also intrinsic motivation there. Up we are talking about the pay. When we are talking about the pay, we are talking about clear the different benefits. For example, the different programs, pay programs. A pay program today, Gura, the variable pay program. Variable pay program matlab that which is changeable. A portion of an employee's pay is based on some individual and or organization measure of performance. What does it mean? It means Gura, to individuals, organizations are providing them clear a variable pay. This variable pay is not to every individual. That is clear to such type of individual clear that clear is a productive in nature. It means when an individual is performing well, his or her productivity is clear, for example at the high of the peak to the organization, so upon his or her measure of performance, this variable pay is clear, for example provide to such individual. There are so many variable pay programs. I just got clear a few just to make your idea clear. That is the P rate pay plan, profit sharing plan and gain sharing plan. Now let me explain clear in detail. Gura awal chile piece rate pay plan. What is piece rate pay plan? If you focus on the definition that workers are paid a fixed sum for each unit of production completed. It means that when an individual is completing a single unit of production, so upon that unit of production which he completed, the organization will give a fixed sum of pay. For example, I would like to give an example. Suppose har yo organization ke har yo unit mane सही हुआ organization च कम दे अब तासोला 2 रुपए वर्क. When you will complete, for example, a single unit, organization upon each unit will give you 2 rupees. If you completed 100 units, so 100 multiply 2, it means upon completion of your whole production of 100 unit multiply by 2 rupees, organization will provide you 200 rupees. So each a fixed sum is what? Fixed sum 200 rupees. Is it? Upon completion of each unit, and each unit was, for example, each unit required 2 rupees. So that is known as the piece rate plan. Piece mean, for example, unit, rate mean per unit. So upon completion of the per unit, upon per unit organization will fix an amount. Is it? And when you will complete, for example, a production, so production unit multiply by per unit, matlab 100 unit you have produced, multiply by per unit 2 rupees, so 200 is the total sum, fixed sum that will provided to you by the organization. So upon completion of the each unit, is it, with a piece rate, that is known as your piece rate plan. Hope inshallah bit idea will be clear. Next we have profit sharing plan. Look at here, profit sharing. Whatever the profit is earned by the organization, so a percentage of the profit is equally shared among clear all the employees, and this is done through a systematic formula. Is it? Will be definitely through a systematic way. Lekin that sharing plan is simply known as your profit sharing plan. An organization wide program that distribute compensation benefit based on some established formula designed around a company's profitability. Idea of inshallah ta'ala clear show each gura organization sura hum profit earn kai. according to a formula اغه profit formula په مطابق چې سوره profit رسی څه شوله اغه چې د خپل employees کې تقسیم کی دي ته موږ simply وایو profit sharing plan. لیکن when we have the gain sharing, अब gain sharing is not like the profit sharing. ګوره gain sharing, whatever I am producing I have to get according to my own productivity. Suppose I would like to explain with a helpful example. It will make your idea initially more clear. Suppose I have 3 teams, team A, team B, team C. Now suppose team A is performing 30%, is it? Team B is performing 40% and team C is performing, let's suppose, 80%. Now team A performed 30%, so according to 30% team A will get. Team B performed 40%, so according to 40% productivity team B will get. Up team C is performing 80%, so according to 80% of the productivity team C will get. So it means whatever the productivity they are producing, they will gain according to their own productivity. So that is known as gain sharing. जो څوک څوره मेहनत کوي څوره productive دی هغه په مطابق وغیرہ ملاويږي. अब what the definition says, an incentive plan in which improvements in group productivity determine the total amount of money that is allocated. If you notice, it depends upon on the company's profitability. Whatever the profit earned by the organization, a percentage of the profit according to a formula is equally distributing among the employees, while it is not the case here. In gain sharing, it depends upon, clear, the sharing depends upon on the productivity. Whatever the team, whatever the individual, say for example, whatever the group is productive, so according to their productivity level, the amount of money will be decided and will be allocated to them. Is it? So that is the difference between the profit sharing and the gain sharing. Then we have employee stock ownership plans. SOPs ورته وایي. E mean employee, S mean stock, ownership, O mean ownership, and P mean plans. Ab what does it mean? Company established benefit plans in which employees acquire stock as part of their benefits. Ab what does it mean? Look at here. Saso organization formation بویلی. چې کله هم organization جوړیږي, is it? That we have some individuals that who are very much devoted, clear, in the establishment of an organization. मतलब چې کله organization جوړیږي نو څه خلک موږ سره کمپنی کې داسي چې هغه شروع کې organization ته ډېر منډه تړه کوي, is it? نو organization داسي کوي چې کله هغه خلکو ته when organization want to give honor to such person, is it, چې چا organization establishment کې ډېر کار کړی, is it? No, to honor such person, organization organization basically sell their stocks, matlab shares, to those person, clear, on the less amount as compared to market price. It means that they sell their stocks to those employees, clear, on the less amount as compared to market price, or as compared to market price they sell the stock to such employees on the less prices, just to recognize them, just to motivate them. So that concept is simply known as your ESOPs, yeah, employee stock ownership plans. Why they are doing this? Because they just give, clear, an ownership to those employees to motivate them. So the individual will feel that they, clear, have a for example an ownership, clear, by holding the stocks of the company, no zaka they will feel more, they will provide more commitment to the organization. No that's a concept that is known as employee stock ownership plans. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. लेकिन हाँ यो खुदा ना यदि positive point that it will provide, clear, the ownership feeling to the individual. Now these are organizational individual the employees will feel, for example, more committed, more satisfied. Lekin it doesn't depend upon on the performances. It the performance based money na de. Remember this thing. Up next we have the skill based pay plan. By the name it is clear, Gura, skill based pay. As I told you, a variety of skills are utilized by the individual within a job. Is it? Like for example, if I'm using negotiation skill, if I'm using, for example, the bargaining skill, if I'm using the diagnostic skill, there is a variety of skills. If I'm using, for example, the body skills, if I'm using, let's suppose, the dexterity skills, for example, if I'm using the communication skill. So it means how much variety of skills are utilized by me inside my job. So upon such skills, organization is going to pay me. So that clear payment or that benefit or that reward, which depends upon on the skill of the individual utilized clear by the individual within a job, is known as skill based pay plan. And pay levels are based on how many skills employees have or how many jobs they can do. But suppose I am a teacher, is it? Suppose I am a teacher, my subjects are assigned to me. See, Mr. Adil, you have to teach management, you have to teach OB, and you have to teach HRM to the students. Rather than these subjects, I am also teaching the human resource information system or SPSS to my students, is it? That is a special skill, that is a unique skill, is it? So when I'm using this SPSS or Harris clear to teach, that is clear out of the premises of the organization course outline. So when I'm using clear such skills, an organization pay me upon those specialized skills. So such skill, such reward, such plan, pay plan will be known as my skill based pay plan. Now our pay plan special pay money, special skill money utilized kigi by the individual, that is known as your skill based plan. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Laga idea bata sola inshallah clear shawi humni. Now the next we have employee recognition program. What is employee recognition? Recognition simply means to give value to the employee, is it? To provide clear a pehchan to the employee. Employee la yo pehchan workable. Employee la yo worth workable, employee la yo value workable. It is also a motivation technique. Remember this thing. For example, Mr. A is a very good employee of us, is it? And we tribute, let's suppose, a clap to the Mr. A. So what does it mean? That it means that we are recognized clear our employee. So that program, there must be a proper structure for such thing, is it? Employee la sanga worth, sanga value worko, sanga importance worko. Under this we have the intrinsic reward system. Whatever we have discussed, that was totally extrinsic. When I started the motivation concept, no, I told you that one we have the intrinsic way and one we have the extrinsic way, is it? What is extrinsic? Extrinsic mean external factors. It means to bring motivation through external sources like pay, work design, work schedule, job design, job rotation, flex time, telecommuting. That tool the piece rate pay, gain pay. That tool means extrinsic rewards. Now we have the intrinsic reward. Intrinsic rewards mean, for example, that bring the motivation clear to stimulate your intrinsic, for example, factors, which will internally satisfy you. Simply deta munga you intrinsic factors. Under the intrinsic reward, stimulate intrinsic motivation. How it will be? That will be done by personal attention to give to employee. It means some personal attention must be given to employee. Personal attention matlab da, for example, that give clear a leverage to the employee, that the employee chakam de agar sa full discussion coalition de tamunga wayu personal attention to employee. Personal attention agar attention na de shakhsi wa zatiyato mane khabara na ki. Personal attention mean, for example, that treat the employee very well, is it? Like for example, gora your boss de sahar rashi khapal organization na agar sirf yo taposu ki chera Mr. A cheta de, Mr. A mi nadali dele. What does it mean? It means that the individual, the boss, is basically give personal attention to the employee. लेकिन नॉर्म डेरी किसी की देशी नॉर्म डेरी एग्जांपल्स की देशी लेकिन simply देता वही simply देता मुंगा वही personal attention given to employee. Then we have approval and appreciation for job well done. Now what is common day? Growing in popularity and usage. There is a organization in terms के. अब दे benefits है. Benefit दा दे जो fulfill employees' desire for recognition. यो खुदा दा जो हर यो employee चिकम दे they have the wish that their bosses, their organization should recognize them. That is a very common scenario, a very common case. Like for example, I'm working in the salon. I have a desire that whenever I'm performing well, organization should appreciate my performance. ज़रूरी है that organization must give me the reward. सही मतलब माला से certificate रागी या माला से पैसे रागी no. लेकिन organization should, for example, give me a recognition. यानी तो कि organization माला हुई चे Mr. Adil is the star of the week. Mr. Adil is, for example, star of the evening. सही employee of the month. No, all these are silly. The picture चे gallery क्यों लगी? सही department क्यों लगी? अब that is basically what? That is basically the recognition. And each employee clear has the desire, has the wish that organization should appreciate his or her performances. Second, inexpensive to implement. Behi cost pe narazi. Chichata do Mr. Adil is a very good person, a very good employee. But they kama kharcha rala. Sexual free of cost. And the third we have encourages repetition of desired behaviors. Here the come word the akhirane chikam de encourages repetition of desired behaviors. अव्वल दाऊगरी ची दवाई से encourage mean हौसला अफजाई की सही हुआ बकअप की repetition of desired behavior mean good behaviors will be repeat सही हुआ नो खैर behavior से कम दे आगा दोबारा repeat कीगी अब अंधा concept से कम दे I would like to explain with a help of example लगता सो वापस राशि reinforcement theory दा remember reinforcement theory Skinner से कम theory वर्क करेगा if you remember we discussed the reinforcement theory given by Skinner. What Skinner said in reinforcement theory, or what was the summary of reinforcement theory? If you remember, I taught you that reinforcement theory simply said that any of the action which got appreciation that will be repeat again and again. मतलब हर आगा योकार चे कम माने individual ला appreciation शवी अब individual हाथ दोबारा repeat कई. Like as for example, your student थे زي أغيث وياما سيو غانا ويا سيشوا أغا غانا وي. For example, if I request to my student that please sing a song, so while he sing a song, clear he will have or she will have clear a very good voice. When we listen his or her voice, we appreciate that you have a very good voice, is it? And you should sing a song or you should practice more, is it? It means that we appreciate that person or that student. Next time when we will request to the student that please sing a song again, so now the person will clear sing a song clear very, for example, on the prompt. Reason, because on that he got appreciation. So reinforcement simply that way, so once clear any of the action behavior done by the individual got appreciation or such behavior, so that behavior will intentionally be repeated again and again. So same is the case upon such behavior, upon such performances, when individual is appreciated, मतलब so your individual दे your boss आगे तो वही सही हुआ चित्त हमेशा मिस्टर ए कार चले पटेम मने रवड़े और पटेम मने for example complete कई well done. It means individual got appreciation on such behavior. So हर टाइम चिकल हम बॉस अगला कार वर्की अब हाथ मन कोशिश के चिटोल न पहला कार चले पटेम मने complete की. Why? Because on such behavior, on such action, the individual got performance. The individual got appreciation. So therefore that way they फायदा दादा they गटा दादा that will encourage repetition of desired behavior. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. As I said to Chigora, employee of the month. Employee of the month simply it means that we have nominated that Mr. A is the employee of the month, so it means that we are recognize our employees. We have the implication of managers. Now in this slide we simply say, or the summary of the slide is that how managers practically do clear the motivation, or how practically managers motivate the employees, or what are the different steps clear taken by the managers to implement the motivation. In order to motivate employee by the managers, recognize individual differences. Simply stated, it means that organization के manageran चक्कर हम they want to motivate the employees, they must clear make the individual differences. Individual differences doesn't mean that I'm talking about the negative terms. It means that, for example, there must be make a difference among the employees on the basis of performance. Like for example, if I have two employees, Mr. A and Mr. B, if Mr. A is performing good, is it, and as compared to Mr. B. So organization के employees must manager must recognize that Mr. A is a good performer, is it? So it means now there is a difference between A and B upon performances, not on the gender base or not on the, for example, compatibility base, on the competency base and on the, for example, performance base. So awal da way who is the person performing well, organization managers must recognize the person. So that is the way awal recognize individual differences. Chaake sora fark de, it must be admirable. A person is performing well, no by chaki tarif ukral shi. Use goals and feedback. The common day. Allow employees to participate in decisions that affect them. Simply means employee involvement program should be developed inside the organization. Link reward to the performance. If the individual is performing well, upon the performance, individual should be rewarded. And next is check the system for equity. Either equity theory kata so tayadi either there is an equity in the organization or not, or for example equal pay to the equal work is given or not. मतलब your department के यो कस्ते same 14 scale माने कार कई या पर 9 scale माने कार कई, bulk department के bulk कस्ते same working on the 14 or 9 scale. अब it means departments are different, scales are same, responsibilities same. So when scales are same, responsibilities are same, payment should be same. Equally treat you. If the person is performing good, if the person has the more equitability, if the person has more, for example, responsibility, so person should get, for example, more. And that is the concept of equity. That is there justice in the organization or not in terms of the equity and compensation. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now that was also mukammal lecture. That was the concept of motivation from concept to application. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Thank you so much.